Hi, everyone, and welcome to the Neuroscience of Mental Health. Today, we are going to be talking about Lesson 5, the tools for mental health. And we have Jason Schofield with me today. He is the CEO of Pathways to Empower, and he is going to be helping talk a little bit about each of the tools as we go along. The ANT tools are really, we talked about the ANT as representing the cortex of the brain, though he's in charge of making those decisions for the long term. He's the slow analytic thinker. You want him in place when you're taking a test or studying or doing a project. You want him to be healthy and be able to work hard. And in order to do that, he needs to have these tools in place. They're just a way to help you remember them. When you're thinking about how to keep your brain healthy. So we'll be going through them one by one today, and Jason's going to give some ideas for how you might incorporate them and talk about how they relate to right now, because we're in a tough time. The first one is the Walkie Talkie. As I said before, we are social. It is so critical for you to have relationships, social relationships, and for teens and adolescents, that is your friends. That is primary to your social relationships. So you need to make sure that you are connecting with people. That's how we get that oxytocin, that message to the brain that's so important. We also get serotonin. It's really important to have those social connections.
And one of the things I think, and thinking about the walkie-talkie and how we're dealing with it, particularly right now, it doesn't seem so intuitive. It's not the normal way that we socialize or the normal way that we like to interact with each other. You know, one of the ways that we interact with each other is sometimes giving each other a hug, and we can't really do that right now with our friends. So I think the best thing you can do is use the tools that you do have. Use, social media a little bit is healthy. It's okay to go on and have video chats at night, meet up with your friends for lunch. Those things are all really great ways that right now you can kind of take advantage of the fact that we're in a society that's pretty technologically advanced and actually has a lot of ways for us to still socialize.
And I love the fact that you guys are so much more technical natives than we are. And I think that my kids laugh at me that I used to always say, get off the computer, get off the computer. But now it's like, yeah, why don't you get on with your friends? And I was just telling one of their teachers how important it is that they're gaming, that they're connecting socially. So things have changed. The second tool is the sleeping bag. That represents the fact that our aunt needs rest, but not only sleep, and sleep is critically important right now, but also rest, also taking a break. The ant can only work on one thing at a time for a very short time period. So you need to make sure you're taking rests.
And I was someone who I have pretty hardcore ADHD. And going through my kind of teenage years, that was really tough when it came to school. So one of the things that helped in terms of thinking about rest as not just being sleep, but also switching tasks, getting into something. If you're working on something for a really long time, one of the things that maybe a lot of people don't know about ADHD is that you hyper focus. And I can remember just getting stuck on something and going, and then you realize that it's like a diminishing return. The more you spend time on it, the less effective you actually are. So switching to something else, for me, I liked getting outside, doing things that were physical, whether that was, playing a sport or meeting up with friends, or just going out for a walk alone. That's a really nice task switch too. So think about the things that you do. Maybe it's reading a book. Just when you're stuck in one thing, give yourself a break, rest from the task, and then you can come back to it a little bit stronger.
And right now, if you can't get out for a walk, if you can't get out and play with your friends, you can do things like have contests with each other.
Yep.
Take a break and say, all right, let's go out and let's do push-ups, whatever, give each other some contests to get to that, to get to those breaks. Snacks is the third one. And we need to make sure that we're eating. During this quarantine, I'm having no trouble with having snacks throughout.
Yeah, seriously.
The challenge is to make sure they're somewhat healthy. This is going to draw us to want to eat. So focusing in on, okay, we need to have to eat throughout the day, that's the much healthier way to go. And I actually think that this is a benefit in terms of not having school, because sometimes at school you're not able to eat all day. I like the fact that you're able to do that, but just focus on what are you eating.
Yeah, the nutritional side of it, it's really important to kind of feed your body and your brain with the good stuff. Although I love Doritos and Oreos and especially Oreos. And it would be easy to eat a whole pack of those right now. But I think one of the important things to think about when you're doing this is kind of like what Donna was saying. You really have an opportunity to kind of feed yourself a little bit all day, which is a really healthy way of eating. And it's really helpful to kind of maybe plan that out. That's another activity, another mindful activity that you can do, whether it's part of how you start your day or right before you go to bed at night. A little bit of meal planning can be kind of a new fun thing, and it might develop some really nice habits that will last you a lifetime.
Yeah, because it's all about balance. Oreos are not bad if you eat a couple of them. And I find we're doing a lot of that.
Yeah.
Um, okay, hiking boots. Hiking boots represents exercise. And again, this is something that's critical for the brain. We need to move. We need to get our brains moving. That's how we form new neural pathways. And that's how we get some of those neurochemicals. So we got to be exercising. And I know this is a big one for you as an athlete, that Jason was a professional baseball player for a little while there. And I know exercise was big for you.
Oh yeah, I mean, it is big. It's funny. It was when I was younger, it was kind of like a job, exercise. So I had to do it, and I got used to doing it, and you just kind of grow to love it. But just in general, like now, and I've had since being a baseball player, I've had definitely high and low points in my relationship with exercise. But I think it's just really important. You always feel better after you've moved a little bit. It's so important for us to move and get our bodies in motion so that we can feel a little bit better. It releases a lot of great brain chemicals if you exercise and you push yourself a little bit. So think about doing that. Think about making it fun. Again, competitions are another way to do this. The reason group exercise classes are so popular is because they are social. So you can still have those kind of social exercises. You can still do it with your friends, but you just have to do it in your own place, and then you can share it. We can all video ourselves. And I mean, I was part of the Ice Bucket Challenge for ALS a long time ago. There are probably 9 million of them that I don't know about. Just, browse your social media feed and you'll find some challenge to be part of.
Yeah, it's awesome. We actually, when we play games, we play for push-ups. So the winner, the loser has to do 10 push-ups every time. So I've gotten really good at push-ups.
It's motivation to win right there.
It is. The next one is maps, which are frameworks. Our brains like routine. We like to have a routine and have a schedule and know what's coming next. We like predictability. Our brain works better when we have that predictability and routine.
Yes. So this is actually, I have a good story about this. When I was in college, playing baseball in college, I got injured my junior year. I had a really bad injury, and I missed pretty much the whole season. And my grades went down when that happened because all of a sudden my schedule became very free and I didn't have as much of my time mapped out. I wasn't as aware of where I was going next all the time. And I didn't have a framework for developing that new schedule because it had always kind of been done for me. So I had to realize during that time, kind of halfway into it, I said, oh man, I'm down pretty far on my GPA here. I need to make a change. And it wasn't that I didn't love school. I loved my psychology classes, everything my junior year. It was just that I didn't have the schedule. I didn't have the map of where to spend my time. And I'm someone that really always needed that.
Yeah, it's particularly now, and this has to do with control. That our brains like to have a sense of control, and that's the thing that you're missing right now. We're all in this moment of, gosh, what's going to happen? So having that predictability each day is much more critical right now.
For sure.
So binoculars, focus. Our aunt is not very good at multitasking. I know that a lot of, they actually are finding that adolescents right now are better than we were at multitasking, that the brain is, but the brain switches task. You guys are faster at it than I am. but it's still important to have those times that you're focused.
Yeah, this is something I think as you get older, you get better at understanding the need, but you're not as good at doing it. So right now, as teens, um, you're pretty much able to do this kind of fast task switching, and not lose too much time during the switch, which I lose a little bit of time during the switch. So I think really kind of thinking about that and utilizing it now and getting those good habits will probably help you for the rest of your life.
Yeah, it's hard to do. Uh,
Mm.
Sometimes there's a lot to do. Um, the last of the ANT tools is a merit badge. And the merit badge represents compassion, pride, and gratitude. And I added this to the ANT tools because David Besteno, who wrote the book Out of Character that I created the characters from, um, he put people into moral dilemmas, and he found that when people engaged in activities that brought about compassion, pride, and gratitude, so if you think about things that you're doing really well, you get that serotonin, you do something for someone, you feel good about yourself, and gratitude, you feel good about who you are and what you've done. um, when people engaged in those activities, they were much less likely to do things to hurt, cheat, and steal from other people, to do things that they might regret later. So this is something that right now you can have an opportunity to practice these, somehow engaging in things that bring about compassion, pride, and gratitude. Maybe you learn a new skill, but this is really important to the brain. It's not something we often think about.
So this is probably the most important one maybe to me right now as I'm kind of dealing with this. So I have a young family, and my wife and I are trying to figure out the best way to lead our two children forward. But then we're also doing things, and we're also working in a new way that we're not used to doing. So if you kind of think about that and you work backwards from your feelings, and I think this is most people, you always feel better when you're helping someone else. So think about how you can help other people. That is actually kind of a selfish way to make yourself feel better, is to help others. And then you can feel good about that. And you can also thank the people that are helping you, because it's a team effort right now inside of families and communities that are trying to deal with this, and even friendships. So you want to be that, kind of be the type of person and act in a way that is a little more selfless, because it's really selfish. It's good for you. It'll always come back to you, and you've probably heard that a lot. But to know that there's a chemical that there's a neurochemical that is actually reinforcing that is a really powerful thing to understand, and that kind of generosity is very helpful.
It is interesting when you recognize how important this stuff is for the brain. So those are the ANT tools. Those are the things and we have a quick guide on our website of the
Yeah.
ANT tools. It's just a one pager that shows all the ANT tools together and how they can help us. Um, I would encourage you, and the quick guide is called How to Foster Mental Health While Practicing Physical Distancing. Not social distancing, physical distancing, because
Yep.
you do need to reach out socially. So I would encourage you to take a look at that, maybe print it out, put it on your wall, and think about how you are including all of these tools. And our reflection for this week is, how are you already using the tools at your disposal? Are there any that you can think you can hone? Which of these tools are you doing really well? Which can you work on? Again, it's about balance, but we need to be thinking about these.
Awesome. Yeah. Thanks so much, everyone, for watching these, and we really look forward to providing more of them and helping you out a little bit during this time.
Thanks very much. Take care.